Following the death of Pope Francis, cardinals are gathering for Pope Francis's funeral but also prepare to elect the person who will lead more than 1.3 billion baptized Roman Catholics that dot the globe. The College of Cardinals is charged with electing the new Pope. There are more than 250 cardinals from more than 90 countries, but only 135 are cardinal electors. Of these, more than 100 were chosen by Pope Francis in the past 10 years. Here comes the explainer of the composition of cardinals. Europe has the highest total number of 114 cardinals, but more than half, 61, are too old to vote, leaving 53 electors. Central America has 4 electors, with the remaining 4 too old to vote. South America has 17 electors out of 32 cardinals, with 15 ineligible to vote. Africa and Asia each have a strong and growing representation, with 18 and 23 electors respectively. Oceania has the smallest number overall, just 4 cardinals, but all of them are young enough to vote. This shows Pope Francis's efforts to make the church more globally representative, but Europe still dominates in total numbers. Pope Francis, the first pontiff from Latin America, overhauled the composition of the body that will elect his successor. During his pontificate, the Argentine made the body more representative of the worldwide church. Specifically, he threw out the old unwritten rulebook that bishops of certain dioceses, several of them in Italy, would automatically be made cardinals, and instead gave red hearts to bishops in parts of the world that had never had them before, such as Tonga, Haiti and Papua New Guinea. However, many still think there is still imbalance. Here comes the explainer for the top 5 countries that have the most cardinals eligible to vote and also their non-electors and total cardinal numbers. Italy leads by far with 17 voting cardinals and a total of 51, showing its continuing dominance even after Pope Francis tried to decentralize power. The USA is second with 10 electors out of 17 total cardinals. Brazil, the most populous Catholic country, has 7 electors, slightly lower than they expected given its Catholic population. France and Spain each have 5 electors, though Spain has more retired, non-elector cardinals than France. This breakdown helps show how the influence of certain nations, particularly European ones, remains strong in the church hierarchy. A zoom in on the African continent shows the following. Nigeria has 4 cardinals, but only 1 is an elector, meaning just 1 can vote for the next pope. South Africa and Tanzania each have 1 elector and 1 non-elector. Ivory Coast stands out with both its cardinals eligible to vote. While African representation is increasing, this representation shows that many of the continent's cardinals are either retired or older, limiting their influence in the papal election. Only a few cardinals have the requisite skills, experience and personality suitable to lead the Roman Catholic Church. But the age factor plays a big role. Those who were below 80 years of age at the time Pope Francis passed on are the only ones eligible to vote. The age factor. Cardinal Emmanuel Wamala, the retired Archbishop of Kampala, is the only Ugandan representative in the College of Cardinals. However, at 98 years of age, he is ineligible to elect the next pope. Cardinal Angelo Acerbi is the oldest man ever to be made cardinal after Pope Francis elevated him to the college in December 2024 at the age of 99. Born on September 23, 1925, in Sesta Godano, Italy, he is also a non-elector. The youngest of the cardinals at 45 years old is Mykola Baikok, who was made a cardinal on December 7, 2024 by Pope Francis. He was born on February 13, 1980. Pope Francis was 76 when he took up the position and held it until his death, aged 88. Benedict XVI before him was 78 and was Pope for only 8 years before his surprise retirement, aged 85. Pope John Paul II, at 58 years old, was elected the youngest pope in over a century. He died on April 2, 2005 at 84 years old. After the cardinals have gathered, they shout extra omnes, everybody out, rings out, and the cardinals, who are sworn to an oath of secrecy, are locked inside the conclave until they can choose a successor. There is no guarantee that the first round of voting will be revealed the same day. Through a mixture of speeches, prayer, reflection and intense but subtle political jostling, cardinals, sitting on both sides of the Sistine Chapel, whittle down candidates through successive rounds of voting. The names of 9 cardinals are chosen at random to officiate and organize the vote. 3 become scrutineers, whose job is to oversee the vote. 3 more collect the votes and 3 more revise them. A pope is only elected when a single candidate receives a 2/3 majority, which is 90 of 135 votes. Sometimes, popes are chosen quickly when a strong candidate emerges after 33 rounds. However, from the 34th ballot onwards, the conclave only votes between the 2 frontrunners who gained the most votes in the previous round. During each ballot, cardinals write the name of their choice, ideally in distorted handwriting to disguise their identity. The ballot papers are then burned in a small fire inside the Sistine Chapel. The black smoke, which is produced by the fire, tells the crowds waiting outside that a new pope has yet to be chosen. When one candidate has finally won 2/3 of the vote, a new pope is elected. The cardinal dean then calls the candidate to the front of the chapel and asks whether they are willing to accept. If the answer is yes, the new pope is then asked to choose his new papal name before his official unveiling, marking the beginning of a new era in the Catholic Church.